Welcome everybody. Today I will be continuing East 1 on Nightmare. Let me just check to make sure my mic is getting picked up. One moment please. Yep, seems to be. Alrighty, today we'll be continuing my challenge here of trying to beat all of the bosses consistently. Trying to understand them and get better at them and be able to beat them in a row multiple times without losing. I'm much more awake now than I was yesterday, and honestly, I'm ready to get back into this. I'm feeling good, happy to be streaming, happy to be back with more East 1. Off to a good start, I think. I did lose. I did make some mistakes with my hits there, but we almost beat him instantly. Just gotta get that feel back. It's good. Not great. Yeah, that wasn't very good. I screwed up a lot there. But I'm starting to get the feel. I'm going too early is the problem. Aw, that probably should have been the win. I had opportunities to hit him more. I guess the problem here is I'm not committing enough. I should be hitting him more instead of trying to play it as safe as I am. Ooh, see. I got stuck on the wall again there. But we beat him already. Just gotta keep doing this. Whoops. I've lost. That's a good extreme one. Nah. It was impossible for me to win there. I blocked myself off. It's okay, we're gonna do it. And as soon as I get those wins in a row, or as soon as I just feel ready to try and be boss. Here we are. Yeah, we're starting strong here. Just have to be a bit consistent with it. Even if I don't win every time. Oops. Yeah, I lost. Winning enough times in a row just to show that it's possible to do it consistently. Like, I think with my loss there, it's so very obvious that I simply played poorly. I lost that one because it got stuck on the wall again. I keep holding the diagonal bottom right, and he doesn't go. He sticks to the wall. I'm gonna try something a little bit. I'll try running against the bottom here. Aw, that would have been the win. I feel like if I was able to hit him consistently in the bottom left, I would win far more often. Because it's like, it's just a hit I'm not getting in. I should have been hitting him so much more. Ugh. I kept moving early and missing a shadow, so I wasn't hitting him. I think I'm just gonna try to never hit him in the bottom left and instead try to hit him in the bottom of the map instead. That was bad. Maybe that's not a good strategy, but I'm getting him low each time. I missed him so many times, I just thought these were wins. Yep. I could have killed him there if I hit him the previous passes. I just keep missing. Maybe I've stopped looking at a shadow. It's hard not to look at him instead of a shadow. Especially because you can't see a shadow when it's off the screen. I moved too early. I should have been running with him there. This is the point where he should die each time. I should have him at that point. Because it's the same pattern every time, and his timing is the same every time. So I can get him on the way back there, but he ideally would have been dead before that. Did I die before that attempt? I might be on 2 in a row right now. Good start. Oh, I should have killed him there. I should have killed him there too. Nope, I just didn't hit him enough. There was so much of the map left, I just wasn't connecting hits. Enough hits on the previous one. But there. Again, the same mistake. I missed him way too many times. When he comes up from when he bounces from the middle right to the bottom, and then bounces to the top left, that's when I should be killing him each time. If I'm not, I'm just doing something wrong. That's the first time I've died there. In a long time, I think. He should have been dead there. I just have no excuse for that. I dodged enough fireballs to get a second chance on that, but he should have been dead before. should be less scared of just hitting him, especially on the right side. Right here. Or there. Yep, my only thing I can say there is I just moved wrong. I didn't dodge. I shouldn't need to explain what I did wrong there. Killing him a lot here. I should have had him killed before that. Honestly, even losing is good in a way, because it shows, like if it's apparent that I lost because of my own mistake, then it kind of goes towards sort of proving what I want to prove, that the boss isn't a gun player. I doubled back, I think. I panicked and doubled back in the middle of that instead of just running through. I should have had him dead before that. See, I'm not hitting him enough. And I'm just kind of standing around. I don't deserve this win if I get it. That was horrible. My movement was okay though. Let's see if we can get a good few more wins in. My movement was terrible again. I wasn't getting hits in. That's one loss. It's better. It's one loss, one win. I'm gonna go 10 fights here and see how many I can do in 10. It's 1 out of 2. It's 2 out of 3. I'm realizing that trying to get 5 wins in a row might be a bit tough on some of these. I know I've done it before, but it might just be unnecessary. This is bad. There we go. 3 out of 4. I lost the first one, so I'm on a 3 streak right now, I believe. I threw it. I can't stop myself from just going early. Shouldn't be. And like that, I'm down to 3 out of 6. Well, 3 out of 7. I don't know why I did that. I think I just wasn't able to see my character clearly, or I just wasn't paying attention. That's weird. I got stuck to the wall. I think I'm at 3 out of 8 now. I don't know if I think I'm at... It was 7 or 8, I think. I think I lost twice. See, I went early. Just completely messed it up. But I guess I can try. That was my chance to kill it, and I messed up. Now I'm at 3 out of 8 or 3 out of 9, which is horrendous. There's no point in continuing. I thought I went up there. See, I hate that I get stuck on the wall there, because I'm not pushing it. Alright, let's try a different boss. I got 3 out of 10 wins, which is horrible. Some of those were definitely not my fault though, like getting stuck on the wall. I cannot believe I've never noticed that before. This is a loss. Somehow I didn't die there. I actually could have pulled that back, I think, if I played better. Yeah, we're taking a break from Dark Fact. I wanted to do 10 fights to see how it went. One. This boss is definitely easier. Let's see. That's not awesome. My movement was poor. I didn't need to die there. I just gave up after getting up there because I don't know what happened with my movement. guy take 10 years to show up. Alright, again, you can just... He's not showing up sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes it takes a while to show up. Like there's a longer delay. It's 2. Maybe I should give every boss 10 attempts. Doing a much better job of dodging the fire now. I say as I fail to dodge the fire. Watch Adam. I'm not watching Adam. I don't know what I'm doing. Keep getting hit by the fire. I'm just failing to dodge it correctly. It's the same thing every time. I'm just not doing it right. Probably could have hit that, but I don't think I could hit that one. Or that one. I need to hit him early as fast as possible before the fire gets difficult. That was bad. I need to stop getting hit so early, but... Could just play safe. I wasn't playing it safe, right? It was me moving early when I shouldn't. Keep getting greedy. Okay. I didn't need to die there. See, I think it's a time thing. I think it got a lot easier. I don't even know if it's possible to hit that. I feel like I'd have to be running towards him before I even know he's there. Shouldn't be getting hit towards his early parts at all, because... Don't trade it. It's a mistake. not easy to hit there. I'm gonna miss this one, that's fine, I can get him here. Hey. I don't know what we're on. I'm gonna count it as one. I ran through him. I can't hit you there, sir. Stop taking damage. Two. I tried. I'm playing well. Had a feeling. Playing reckless. Just wait. Not gonna get him here. What I need to do is just decide to wait, I think. Like, I couldn't have hit him there, so I shouldn't have tried. But I could have hit him there. Don't hit him here. Ah, 3. Don't get launched back into the fire. Too poorly. I'm getting hit for no reason. Shouldn't be doing that. That's bad. Now. He goes there. I was fortunate that he just gave it to me. He appeared so quickly. Is that 3 wins? I think it was 3 wins and 1 loss. This is unfair. His timing is at the exact times when I can't hit him. 3 out of 5. I got greedy. I kept going for him even when I knew I couldn't hit him. Sometimes it's hard to tell when I have a chance to hit him and when I don't. Like, on one hand, you need to be daring and go for it. On the other hand, you need to not be careless. You need to know when to call it off and not go for it. I thought that was the last hit. 396. So much easier at the start. I think that's why I went for it before. Like even when it seemed unlikely. Currently losing. Huh. 4 out of 7. I was actually focusing on dodging the fire for once. That should have been it. That should have also been it. And movement is off. Movement is off. Pay attention. I don't know how I'm supposed to get that without taking damage. I guess I should just not go for it. In that scenario. I don't think I need to get hit there. See if I could at least get one more. Fire lines up a bit more. Kenny, welcome. No way, not when you're busy. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you for the lure. I should still be streaming for a while. I'm only like a half hour in or so. Oh, I could have got that. Okay, 5 out of 10. A 50% win ratio is not awful. Now this fight, I feel like there's no real question about whether this fight's like I'll do this fight 10 times and win all 10 of them. Probably, I don't know, I just took damage. I normally don't. Maybe I'm not getting into the groove enough. Oh yeah, I should be not taking damage here. I take back what I said. All I have to do is not run into his head, and I'll be good. I just want to chain those hits together, man. Come on, he's low. Honestly, 10 might even be too much. With how long this fight takes. And how straightforward it is. You know, I don't think there's any question about whether this fight is fair or not. I think it is unfair towards the boss. Ugh. Yeah, I don't want to fight him again. We're done with him. Let's go. Let's do it. I'm taking damage and I don't need to. He gave me a free hit earlier and I missed it. Sometimes it's hard to get the timing right. Even when the boss is handing you a free hit. I didn't need to get hit there. Okay, next time he bunches up, he's reforming. Every third time he bunches up, it's because he's reforming. After he does that. It's like now it's refreshed. It's like that's one. It's hard to get the movement right. I'm getting a little lucky here because he's reforming very quickly. But I'm also getting a hit a lot when I shouldn't be. That kind of makes up for it. Like, I probably should have lost already. I think that was 2, so this should be 3, 4. Yeah. Oh, lucky. Ooh, I just barely got that. Oh, I missed. That's 2 I missed. Like, if I lose this, I can't really complain. I had multiple top chances to hit him. And multiple he'd be dead right now. He might have already been dead before that. Yeah. I straight up just missed him twice. Oh, I'm sad. Gonna reform. Not the best friend to reform in the middle, but You want to bait him a little bit. Like you want to stay near him. You want to go up, because then he'll go up. Like there, I see so many of them went down. Okay, he's about to reform. Got him. Like if you can... he reformed very quickly there, so that was nice. But ideally you want to stay a little close to him, wriggle around in the corners. Because if you just run straight in a direction, the bats will just follow you there. Meanwhile, if you wiggle around, a lot of them will go down when you go up. I missed. I just got the timing wrong. My timing was horrible there. I went into the bottom of that corner too quickly. And then I missed a free hit that he gave me. I don't know if I could have dodged that one. Probably could have. But I dodged him there. Ah, yeah. Just getting hit there, no matter what, I think. Or I didn't bait them well enough. When you're only one hit away from dying, there's pretty much nothing you can do. Unless the boss is also one hit away from dying and you get lucky. I was expecting the boss to reform, so I got curious. I don't think I've won yet, have I? I'm restarting. I've let myself get hit about 1,000 times more than I should have. Alright, let's play from this. It's hard to explain exactly how you need to move. He went right into that corner. Hugging the wall and delaying. It's gonna reform. I'm glad I didn't stop moving there. I think something that's helping me here is committing all the way to the bottom left before turning to the right. And similarly going all the way to the top right before turning left. I think that also baits them a little. Seems like it's helping. I'm waiting until I get hit to turn some of these corners, which is a bad idea. I'm just reacting too slowly. I keep thinking I have slightly more time, and forgetting just how fast these bats are. So I gotta wait for them to get close for me to juke them. I only got hit twice there. I probably shouldn't have been over there because he was too close to the edge. So getting hit only twice there was actually pretty good. I nearly was too slow to turn. So here is probably fine. Well, he also reformed very quickly. I think I would have been fine even if he didn't. I ran too early. But we got him. Let's see if we can replicate that. In that case, I was getting lucky again because he started reforming. I mean, I guess it's not really luck, because of course he's going to reform at some point. No damage so far. It's definitely not going to stay. I don't think I could have dodged those bats. I almost certainly could have dodged. I moved very slowly. Oh, I almost got him. At least he reformed quickly 2 times after that. If he reforms really quickly, it skewers my data. Stop reforming! Mongolian, you need to stop. I need to beat you at your best. Ugh. I should be turning... Oh, wow. Oof. I ran into him too early, and so they hit me down. That was entirely my bad. This was correct, I think. It was not correct. My timing on my movement, I think, was very, very bad. Like, the bats weren't even near me, and I already started moving. Trying to make my lap. There's so much nuance to the movement and the timing of the movement. You have to know when to move, and it's not going to be consistent. Because the bats are never going to be in the same exact position twice. You want to bait them as long as possible. We'll start here. That was fine. I didn't need to get hit there. So now he's taking a while to reform, which is good. See, not running all the way to the edges there, and I made a mistake there too. I needed to go sooner. doesn't really work when they're not all spread out. It's hard to explain while I'm playing it. Didn't need to get hit there. That one may have been unavoidable. That may have been unavoidable. No, I think that was avoidable. Maybe not that one. That one was avoidable, I believe. I'm dodging them most of the time. I'm just not dodging them all the time because it changes. I couldn't see the bat below. That was my fault. I knew there could have been one there. I'm not focusing, and I should be. I'm thirsty. I should drink some water. Music's so good. It's hard to explain the movement that I think I should be doing. Because even I don't know sometimes. Like it's hard for me to recognize how I should be moving in certain scenarios. So I only have like a few moments to really gauge how the bats are heaped up, where they tend to be grouping. I didn't need to get hit there. Feels so frustrating when I get hit when I know I don't need to be. That's fine. Like sometimes I think you can't dodge the bats, but most of the time you can dodge them. I think I ran into the door there. After this fight, I'm gonna get something to drink. Probably some water. I got hit by that bat twice and I didn't need to get hit even once. It's so... I'm trying to think of the right word. It's dynamic is the right word. It's one of the things I like about the fight. Like, no two battles against this boss are going to go the same way. What I try to look out for the most when trying to decide how to dodge the bats is mostly the outer edges of the bats, how far some of them are. Because how far out the bats are, I didn't get hit there again. How far out the bats are, other middle round for the submachine, is like the maximum range you're gonna have to move. And I try to wait as long as possible. Like the closest bat to you or the farthest out bat is like the limit to how far you're gonna be able to move. Like the bat to the furthest east, the bat to the furthest west. I have to account for that whenever I move, that that's going to be the range I have to deal with. And there, see, I got hit when I didn't need to, because I just waited too long. So it's trying to find the right balance of how long should you wait to get them to group up as much as possible. But they also tend to stay towards like a center. They tend to gravitate towards like a middle. And so you can try to manipulate that with your movement too. Like there. Most of them are going to be towards the top because oops. And I didn't run all the way to the right corner there because they were all bunched up. And if I run all the way to the corner when they're all bunched up, like if I did it there, I probably would have gotten hit. Because they would have had more of an opportunity. But since they're bunched up, I don't need to run all the way to the corner. I could just cut the corners early. I had 2 opportunities to hit him, I think, and I didn't take it. So like, sometimes you'll see a lot of the bats sort of recoil back towards the center, and that's because like the center mass is trying to move in a certain direction. Like when I bait them, like here I'm going down, so a lot of the bats, here I'm going up. Most of them recoil to go back up. I still got hit because I didn't time it. So a lot of the time the bats won't stay far from the center. Which is why if you can bait them, it works well up here. I went up and then I went down, so most of the bats were not, even if they're down now, like some of them are down, they went back up. It's hard to explain as I'm playing it and the bats are constantly moving. But like there were a ton of bats below the middle of the field, but by the time I went down, most of them weren't there anymore. I should have moved more quickly there. When they bunch up, they're not chasing you. So I waited too long. The boss would probably be dead already if I didn't keep missing these chances. Like there, like you don't want to wait for them to be done bunching up before you start turning, because then they're going to be going after you again. Got him. I don't remember how many attempts that took me to beat him again. But what I'm currently trying to do is get enough wins under my belt that I feel like I can beat them consistently. This is why I have all the bosses lined up in the save file. More often than not, they're gonna try to bunch up while you're in the edges over here. So you won't even have to, it won't even be that hard to dodge them. I got hit there just because I ran into the bat. I didn't get hit there because missing. The hardest thing for me to dodge, or to account for, is when you'll have a bunch of bats, like this one here. You'll have a bat that's far to the left, and everything else will still be really spread out. So you won't have much room to navigate with that one bat being super close to you. And if you move down too quickly, all the bats will follow you. I've missed him several times. I should focus a little. Yeah, this boss is definitely very brutal. But I've never felt that it's unfair. Even now, I still don't think it's an unfair boss fight. It's just really, really brutal. In that case, I went towards the middle a little bit, which was a good idea. And then I ran top right, and then I went bottom, which I think was the correct thing to do. Like, if possible, you want to run down before you head up, because that's what's going to make them. That's what's going to make them. not sure if I could have dodged all of those. I'm pretty sure I just did something wrong. But I couldn't tell you what. Like, I don't think you can dodge every bat. I do think sometimes you're going to get bats that spread out too far and hit you. And those ones may feel like RNG. Oh, that I have works. Okay, that one was me running into the wall. The vast majority of the bats you can dodge. There are a couple times where they'll spread out a little too far and it'll feel like you can't dodge them. And that may be the case. Where you'll get hit by a random bat from time to time. But I don't think I've ever lost just because of the random bats. I don't think they can do enough damage to you. Just the occasional bat. That one I lost because I ran into the wall. There's like a curved in door there and I ran into the wall. Instead of sticking to the top, which is what I wanted to do, but I moved incorrectly. East 1 honestly has some of my favorite bosses. Like, I love a lot of these bosses. They're just very difficult for me, because I don't have very good reaction times. And good, like, coordination and skill. Like, I've seen some people breeze through some of these bosses, but for me it's a lot harder. Like, the execution is just hard for me to do. Because I tend to not be good at action games and reaction-based games. I have to put a lot of time into them to get decent at them. I want to mention what happened there. Shadow, welcome! I hope you're having a lovely day or night. I want to mention what I did wrong there. I hit him on the left side and it bounced me back a little. So I was running to the right and it bounced me back left and then I continued running right. So when he came out of his bat form, I just got hit a lot. I should have just ran to the left and went around him. But I didn't realize. Like there, see it bounces me left, but I kept running right and I shouldn't have. The reason I did that is because I thought I was further right than I was. But in actuality, I was more to the left. Is my mic working? Oh, okay. A couple streams ago, I had a problem where my mic didn't get picked up by OBS for some reason, even though it was working just fine the stream before. And so the first hour of the stream, I didn't have a mic. Oh, I'm glad it's working though. I was about to cry. I think that was 2. Every third bunch up, EV forms. You're playing Reverie, right? If I'm not mistaken. Have you, without mentioning spoilers or anything, have you, did you beat, like, the boss? I think I'm gonna lose this. I'd have to play extremely carefully and just not make any mistakes, I think. Nope, I should have been in the bottom left longer. In the corridor now, just finishing everything up. I didn't need to get hit. I think my total playtime for Reverie was 250 hours. I spent a lot of time in the corridor. I hope you enjoy everything that's left. There's some really good stuff still. I'm only half paying attention, and that's not doing me any favors. Kind of stopped trying to bait them. Here, go up. I ran into the same bat twice. That's what I mean when I'm like bad at executing. I saw that bat, and I just ran up, and then I just ran down, and I ran into it twice. I think there's no chance of me winning this fight. I have too little health. Yeah. I'm gonna take a sip of a drink I have here. 1 second. Alright, back. We can switch it up and try a different boss. Let's try this one. Oh no, was this saved before? Oh no, this save file was before the boss. Why would I have a save file there? No. Once you've done everything, you're gonna play through the game again on the hardest difficulty. That's gonna be very tough. I've heard Abyss is really, really tough in Reverie, or at least early on. There we go. Oh, thank goodness I had a save for this. It'll probably be a lot of fun though. Reverie's gameplay is really, really fun. This is Nightmare, yes. Yes. I hit him twice without taking damage and I was like, oh, this can't be Nightmare. Because when does that ever happen? I'm playing very well. Well, now it's gone downhill a little bit. Okay, this is the part where I need to be especially careful. I didn't need to get hit there. Huh. This fight can be extremely challenging sometimes. Thankfully it wasn't this time. I did my first playthrough on Nightmare difficulty. I haven't done an Abyss playthrough yet. I do want to do an Abyss playthrough at some point in the future though. I think it'd be very interesting. I'm kind of surprised I won that first try. Well, this is more like it. This is more like how I was expecting it to go. I hit him once, I get hit 40 times. It's bad enough to be trading hits, but getting hit multiple times is... Oh wow, I didn't even hit him. I'm just not being careful enough with my movement. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I lose this. I think I die in 2 hits. I'm scared. Do it on stream. See, that's a good idea. But I don't know how to stream. Do you stream from PS4, Shadow? Yeah, I lost. Because I actually have something I'd like to ask you if you do stream for PS4. Because I haven't streamed from PlayStation 4 before. Okay, that's... I straight up wasn't paying attention. No, from PC. Ah, okay. I don't think my PC can run Reverie. So I got it on PS4. I should try to figure out. I'm trying to figure out a way to do PS4 streams. And I've seen like a couple different ways I could, but I don't know which one's gonna actually work for me. This is doable. I don't think anyone thinks this fight's like unfair or anything. Oof. Hey. That's 2 out of 3. Currently, I'm trying to get like better at these boss fights. I'm seeing mixed results. Yesterday I was able to beat Darkfact 5 times in a row without losing, followed by an hour of losing repeatedly. So much damage. So far I'm seeing like 2 options primarily when it comes to PS4 streaming. Basically, I would need to get an external capture card. An external capture card and connect it to my PlayStation 4. But I guess I'm just not entirely sure which one to get, because there are some that are $100 to $200, like Elgato ones. And then there are cheaper ones that are like $40, $30, $40 that seem to get the job done. They get good reviews. But I'm just not sure. If there was any boss that I don't like in this game, or that I felt was unfair, it would be this one. Because I still don't know how you're supposed to beat this boss. The way I've always known to beat him is just to run around the side of his hitbox in the same direction it's turning. Maybe I need to do like wider circles. That seems to be it. Maybe I'm supposed to like avoid the center, like not run too close to the center. I should do that previous boss again, because I know there's like a faster way to do it. Let's see if I can beat this boss multiple times in a row. So I have a lot of games on PS4 that I've been wanting to stream. If I can beat this guy 5 times in a row, I think I'd feel like I have a good understanding of how to beat him. And I failed. Yeah, I don't know how to beat this guy consistently. Yeah, walk. Walk in this hitbox, maybe? Does going in the center actually damage me? That's what I need to know. Yes. Okay, that's good to know. So I should not be touching the center. I mean, it makes sense, but... I keep losing because of the rocks he shoots. There's something faster, I guess. I wonder if I'm getting hit a lot because I can't see where Adol is specifically when he's behind the boss. I wonder if it'd be better to just run back and forth. Definitely is not the correct way to go about that. Let's go back to this boss. I've seen people do that against this boss, run back and forth between them. I lose half my health every attempt, though. That was a bit better. That was a bit better. Should I just go for like 3? That's a bad decision. See, that time it went wrong. That time went horribly. I should just do it my way. Walk in. Yeah, I walked straight into fireballs. And I just have to line it up by walking. I completely missed the enemy. There we go. Oh! Taco! Thank you so much for the raid! Welcome! We shout you out. What were you playing? Oh, Xanadu CS4. Welcome. I think I remember seeing you around before. Your name seems familiar. Xanadu. East is going very well. How'd your stream go? What were you playing? Vanguard Bandits. Ooh, I've never heard of that game. What kind of game is it? Currently, well, first of all, I want to say if any of you, thank you very much for the raid. But if any of you can't stick around, I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day or night. I understand that once you're finished a stream, sometimes you get tired. Sometimes you got other things you got to do once you're finished. So if you have to head out or anything, I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day or night. But what I'm currently doing is I am facing off against the bosses of East 1 in an attempt to get stronger against them, to get good, as it were. It's a strategy RPG on the PS1, has mechs and stuff. Ooh, that sounds like something that would be right up my alley. I need to look that up later. Yeah, currently I'm just practicing against the bosses, trying really hard to master them and learn them. Sadly, I don't think it's going magnificently. Mainly because I tend to not be very good at action games and reaction-based games. Have you ever played East 1 before? I can't beat them consistently, which is, you have not. Well, East 1 has some very interesting boss fights. Some of them are pretty straightforward and simple and a little bit easy. And some of them are a bit average in difficulty, while not being too complex. And then some of them are extremely brutal. You played East 7 and Oath in Felghana. Ooh, Oath in Felghana is probably the hardest game in the series. I played Oath in Felghana on Nightmare for my first playthrough once, on my own time. And then I streamed an Inferno difficulty playthrough. And the final boss took me like 4+ hours, I think, to beat. You know what? I'll start with the first boss. Pretty tough, and you just play it on normal. It's definitely the hardest game. Probably even on normal, it's probably even the hardest, at least on normal. Compared to all the other normal difficulties in Ys, Oath of Felghana is probably the hardest too. So this boss fight is called Genocres, I believe. I flipped though. No. It's definitely, they can definitely be very challenging at times. This guy's Genocres. He teleports around while there's fire, and you have to time it right. And you can stay here outside of the fire and then rush in to get hits, like hit and run tactics. I missed him there. Or you can walk and try to walk in between the flames to have more of an opportunity to hit him. I'm currently trying all these boss fights on Nightmare difficulty, which is the hardest. These have, music is banging though. Music is consistently fantastic throughout the entire Ys series. And really, every Falcom game I've played. And yeah, there's bump combat in this one. To explain a little bit about how the bump combat works. I'll show you against some regular enemies for right out here. Basically, you don't have an attack button, and it's all movement based, which is something I really like because it keeps it, it's a little tactical, but it's also really fast paced and satisfying when you get it down. But essentially, you just don't want to run into enemies head on, because then you'll both take damage. So you want to run into them off center, like that. Like if they're coming straight at you, you want to run into them in their shoulder. And you won't take damage. So it's really fast paced. Ys 1 is actually one of my favorite Ys games, even though it's really short. I don't know if I'd call it like one of the best ones, but it's definitely one of my favorites. It's really easy to replay. Like you can beat the whole game on like a replay, even on Nightmare difficulty, in like 2 hours. On a first playthrough, like on normal difficulty, it might take you like 6 or so. But like once you know where everything is and what to do, it becomes very quick and easy to replay. You do have to grind sometimes, which is pretty common in Ys games. But similar to a lot of the Ys games, grinding typically only takes a very short amount of time. Especially in this game, because there aren't that many levels. There is a relatively low level cap, so it's really fast to level up to get to the level you need to be at. Yeah, for these bosses, you don't need to hit them off-center, you just need to run into them. So it's like entirely movement-based, this boss fight. Once you get to like Nightmare difficulty, there's a ton of nuance to some of the movement in the boss fights. Like one thing you'll notice about this boss fight, that's really hard to notice, is the fire doesn't stick to the same pattern. Over time, it goes like off sync. So it's harder to dodge it the longer the battle goes on. Like right now, it's gonna start getting harder for me to dodge the fire. Because you have to go very diagonally in between, like there's gaps in between the bottom and the middle fire, and you have to walk kind of diagonally in between them. So it becomes a lot harder to dodge. But I also can also just wait for the patterns to line up a bit more, or just resort to the hit and run tactic. Fun. They can be very brutal, for certain, but I actually really enjoy them. If I had just dodged the fire there, I would have beaten him. Yeah, I replay Ys 1 a lot. But I've never been consistently good at the bosses on Nightmare. Like, I can beat them usually within like a couple minutes. But it'll take me a few tries. So I'm trying to see if I can improve and see if I can consistently beat them. The other day, I was able to beat one of the bosses 5 times in a row. So I got hit by the fire way too much there earlier in the fight. So towards the end, when the fire's harder to dodge, those mistakes came back to bite me. See, like, dodging the fire at the start here is not very difficult. You have a lot more time, because the cycles sync up pretty well. So you want to get hit as little as possible and hit him as much as possible. Or at least if you want to beat the boss quickly. So now what I'm trying to do is make decisions on when I should start trying to dodge the fire. Ah, got him. I'll move on to the second boss now, now that this one's been defeated. So you won't always have an opportunity to hit the boss, because sometimes he'll appear like over here and the fires won't line up. And just the timing of the boss. So towards the end there, when it's harder to dodge the fire, I think it's better to just wait here and try to pay attention to his timing to know when I should go in to dodge the fire, to know that it'll be worth it, to know that I'll have like a chance to hit him. So this is the second boss, and that first boss I would say is sort of in the middle in terms of being complex. Oh yeah, this song, if you haven't heard it before, it's fantastic. If you've never played this game before and it looks like one you might enjoy, I would definitely recommend it. On sale, it goes for less than $5. East 1 and 2. I feel like the soundtrack alone makes it worth it. Yeah, I think the games are a lot of fun. Yeah, the first boss isn't very hard when you fight him on normal. He's almost more of like a level gate, where you just aren't able to do that much damage to him and the fire does a lot to you. So leveling up makes that boss a lot easier. If I had leveled up one more time, I was level 4 when I fought him previously. If I leveled up one more time, he probably would have become significantly easier, but I didn't want to spend the time leveling up. I just wanted to beat him at level 4, because I know it's doable. But yeah, it's mostly just the fire. It's really only a bit tricky on Nightmare because of the fire going off sync. But this boss is one of the easy ones. This boss is very fast, and if he rams into you directly, he'll chain hits on you, and if he hits you into a wall, you might just instantly die. So you gotta make sure that you're running in circles and not get hit by him directly. And you just damage him by running. Oop. You can still run into its head and take damage, so you want to make sure to avoid that. But you mostly just run into his body here and he'll take damage. It's a little bit silly. The music's great, at least. have you ever watched the East 1 and 2 animes? There's bosses in it. I've seen the first few episodes of East 1's anime. I think I put it on hold and didn't finish it. I do want to watch East 1 and 2's animes to completion in the future. But I don't think I finished East 1's. It definitely seemed interesting. I do think I remember this boss being in it as well. Unaware that this had an anime. It's a pretty old, I think it was an OVA that it got, like East 1 and 2. It's pretty old, but it did get one. East 2 anime went super hard. I do want to watch it. You really enjoyed it. You actually have this on Steam. Forgot you bought it. Do you have a... Well, I guess I should mention, regarding the East 2 anime, I heard that, like, they changed up some parts of the story a bit. And I heard it was kind of interesting in its own way, with some of the story changes. So I do want to watch that version. But Taco, do you have a Discord? I might already be in it, if you do, but I can't remember off the top of my head. I feel like you did, but I can't. You do. If you ever decide to stream East 1, I need to check if I'm in it. Oh, I am in it. Okay. If you ever decide to stream East 1, please feel free to like shoot me a message, like. Or you can even like DM me. I'll happily try to show up if I'm able to, if I have the time. I love watching people experience a lot of these games for the first time. Plus, it is kind of old school, so there are some cryptic aspects to both its story and gameplay. So if you ever wanted like spoiler-free tips or anything, I'd be able to share a few as well. Yeah, this boss in particular is very, very tough. One of the reasons, as you've enjoyed all the Falcon games so far, you'll be getting to Trails of Cold Steel 2 soon. Which of the Trails games have you played so far? Trails of Cold Steel 2 is really good. Oops. Whenever you hit this boss, he puts a hole in the floor, and if you stay within like range of it, you'll just immediately die. All of them up to that one. I think you'll really enjoy Cold Steel 2. There's a lot of really cool stuff in that one. Yeah, so far I haven't played a single Falcon game that hasn't been really good. One of the reasons I decided to try to tackle this, to try to fight all these bosses. One of the reasons I wanted to try to tackle these bosses and like consistently be able to beat them, or learn to consistently try to beat them. It's a very extreme boss fight. Is that some people actually feel that there are two bosses in particular in this game, this one and one other, that some people feel are luck-based and like very RNG dependent. And I've never really agreed with that. So I wanted to try to like see if I could consistently beat them to kind of like show that it isn't. So with this boss fight, you have meteors that fall down across the map, and those meteors will hit the ground and deal damage to you, and then they will launch out tinier meteors in like different directions, and those will deal damage to you. And they'll do that throughout the whole fight, and so your health is almost certainly going to be draining down. And whenever you hit the boss, the map gets smaller because of the holes that it creates, giving you less room to maneuver and line up your attacks when he bounces all around the outside. So it's definitely a bonkers fight. But the way that I've always looked at it, the fireballs are more so a time limit. You have to beat the boss before he beats you, and the meteors are just there to tell you you can't mess up. You gotta beat him fast. The hard part is making sure to hit him correctly when he passes over, because you have to hit him. You have to kill the boss quick. You have to out damage the boss, so you have to hit him a lot, as much as you can whenever he passes, while not blocking yourself off with the holes he makes in the floor. It's a really cool boss fight. The other thing is that he does the same pattern every time. Oof. So ideally, you should be able to beat him every time if you just memorize the pattern and hit him at the same spots every time. But it's really hard for me to do that. Like, it's very doable. It's very doable, but my reaction times and like hand-eye coordination are not great. Like, I know how I'd like to move in my head, but how I actually move sometimes is very different than how I intend. He's wiping the floor with me. Like a melee bullet hell. That's exactly what it's like. Except you're probably not going to be dodging most of the meteors. You can dodge some of them, and I think the reason I died so quickly there was because I was standing around too much. Or I was like at the top of the map or the bottom of the map too much. So I just kept getting pelted instead of being constantly moving. There's a very there's a very common joke about this boss that he's we're basically fighting a DVD screensaver. With him bouncing around the corners of the map. I'm just not hitting him enough. His hitbox is basically his shadow, and I really need to commit to hitting him. I need to like run in his shadow. There we go. See, that time I committed to running in his shadow and I managed to beat him. But yeah, yesterday I managed to beat the boss 5 times in a row, back to back. But then I got a bit greedy and thought to myself, ooh, I should try to see how many times I could beat him more, you know, or beat him like another 5 times. But I was really tired, and I should have stopped shortly after I got him 5 times in a row. So I went another hour trying to beat him, and I couldn't beat him consistently after that. So that was really bad. Ooh. I had so little health. The reason I beat him there is because I kept moving, so the fireballs didn't hit me as I ran down to hit him. But I had multiple chances to hit him more than just once. Like, I can't just afford to hit him only once or twice. I have to hit him multiple times each pass. So that time, I didn't hit him anywhere near as much as I should have. Yeah, if you've only played a couple of the Ys games so far, you have a lot of great stuff ahead of you still. If you've been enjoying, oops, I was getting distracted. You have a lot of great games still ahead of you. Not just in Trails either, because that also counts for Trails. There's a lot of great stuff in Trails still left. But every Falcom game is so good. All have great soundtracks. All are so full of charm. I think you'll have a blast with all the ones that you haven't played yet. Speaking of, there's a new one coming out this Tuesday called The Legend of Nayuta: Boundless Trails. It's kind of a Trails spin-off. It doesn't seemingly take place in the same world, and it doesn't seem to be connected to the other mainline entries. At least not yet. It's possible it could end up being connected down the line. But that one's being localized this Tuesday, and I'm very excited for that one. And the way it plays is almost... It's action-based, and it's like a couple of previous Zwei games. A couple previous Falcom games called Zwei. And I love the Zwei 2. It's really good. And so this game looks like it's an even more polished version of that, gameplay-wise. If you haven't played Zwei, though, the next most similar thing would probably be E6 and Oath and Felghana. So its gameplay is a little bit similar to that. Ooh, you got that one on the way? I've heard really good things about Nayuta. I've heard some of its soundtrack, and it sounds great. The gameplay looks great. Oh, I should have killed him there, but I'll have a second chance. I'm getting him consistently now, which is good. I hope you have a blast with Nayuta, because I didn't think that I would be this excited for Nayuta. But over like these last few months, that the hype has built up for me. I don't know how many times in a row that was. It might have been 2 or 3. If I could get him 5 times in a row here, that'd be good, because this boss is considered one of the hardest in the game. Part of the reason this boss is so challenging is you can't level up anymore. Like, you can't grind to a higher level at this point. I need to kill whoever it is. I lost anyway. I stood still for too long. Does my audio sound alright, by the way? I'm not, like, too quiet or too loud, right? I think it should be fine, but I just wanted to make sure. I can show you the other boss that's considered the hardest. That boss that I just did is one of the ones that are considered the hardest in the game, and some people feel is brutally unfair. This is the other one, which I could show you. It's a bat boss, and he spreads out into tiny bats, and they're so fast on Nightmare difficulty. Like on Nightmare, they're just brutally fast. Yeah, it seems fine. That fight is a little louder, but it's alright. Yeah, there were a lot of effects and loud noises during that one. Oh, I missed him. You have a very small window of opportunity to damage the boss when he reforms. Yeah, got it. Oh, I have so low health. I've been getting hit way too much. I don't think there's a chance for me to win this. Unless he reforms really quickly. Then I'll have a chance. Ah, now I'm getting hit. I think I get hit once more, and then I die. Yeah, I've lost. This boss is very, very hard. Because the bats will kind of fly off into random directions away from like its center. It kind of has like a center of gravity. And the bats will spread out and be at like different distances away from it. So you have to be like really careful with your movement to try to dodge them. It's kind of like about baiting the bats into being in different positions. Oh, I missed him. I was too slow. The music's so good. Oh, I nearly got hit. Yeah, it's really hard to dodge them. Especially on Nightmare when they're so fast. Ah, I've lost. I've played too poorly. I've gotten hit so many times. Okay, I'm gonna try really hard to focus on this attempt. Because there's a lot of nuance to the movement you have to do, and the fight is very dynamic, because the bats will almost never be in the same position. So you kind of have to like really adapt to where the bats are. And then your movement has to sometimes be really precise. I'm gonna focus on this one. Or I thought I was gonna focus, but I'm already getting distracted. gonna reform. There's a little trick to knowing when he's gonna reform. Or at least sometimes. Basically, sometimes you see him bunching up in his bat form. Like there. He can only do it twice and then he has to reform. So on the third time he does it, he will always reform. So that's a way of knowing when he'll do it. He can do it sooner though too. Like there. Oh, my timing was bad. I don't think I can win now. I've taken too much damage. I should just retry. Especially because I just missed him again. He's making such short work of me. Yeah, this fight is also one of the hardest in the game. I haven't consistently been able to beat him. Like, usually I can beat him after like a couple attempts. Like, sometimes it takes me a few minutes. But then I can beat him. I got hit so many more times there than I needed to. The mistake I was making was I'm waiting too long to run away, and I'm getting hit by bats. Like, I try to wait as long as possible, but then I wait too long to get hit by some bats. Oh, oh, that was terrible. So yeah, basically you have to make like good decisions on how to dodge them. Although if you think this looks too brutal, I can at least say that it's nowhere near as hard on normal difficulty, at least. Not too far behind him in terms of health. A good way to know how you're doing is just to look at your health in comparison to the bosses. I missed a chance to hit him. No. So if the boss has more health than me, definitely not doing it right. Let me see if I have, I was hoping I'd have a normal save. Do I? Actually? No, I don't. Well, I can show you what this guy's like on normal difficulty. To show you what a big difference it makes. Or at least it should be. I imagine I lose against him now on normal. He's so much more manageable. I still had half my health left by the time I beat him. I think E6 and Ilthan Felghana also had this, but there is a boss rush mode too. I think the difficulty in the boss rush is normal. Or maybe it's hard. It's like normal or hard, I think. Like, I'm doing significantly more damage here. Ooh, I got him. I didn't think I could. When I fight the When I fight the bat boss here, I think you'll see what a difference it makes on normal or hard, or it's a custom difficulty like between it. It's somewhere around there. Definitely easier. Looked at. This guy should just die really quickly, I think. Yeah, I don't know the difficulty of the boss rush mode. It's definitely not nightmare difficulty, though. So that was much faster. Okay, here we go. Look at how slow they go. Look at how much damage I'm dealing. And how little damage I'm taking. Such a huge difference. He also usually doesn't take as long to reform either. He can take up to 3 times. Here he usually takes like 1 or 2. Like he's so slow here, you can run circles around him. So much more manageable. So Ys 1 and 2, this version of it is called the Chronicles version, and it's a 2009 remake of the original games. The original games, Ys 1 and 2, released in 1987, I think? 1987 or 1988. I can double check that in a moment. There are other bosses in the boss rush, but I can stop after this one since I haven't shown any of the others. I still had most of my health. Let me double check. So I think I wrote it down somewhere. Ys 1 was 1987, Ys 2 was 1988. That's what it was. So these are remade versions of those games. And the music is arranged by the same composer who arranged Oath and Felghana's music. Oath and Felghana is actually a 2005 remake of Ys 3. So Oath and Felghana is actually Ys 3. It doesn't have the number in the title, but it is, for all intents and purposes, Ys 3. And Falcom has their own internal sound team. Like they have a small handful of people who compose a lot of the music in their games. And then they outsource to 1 or 2 musicians at times. And so for Ys 3's remake and Ys 1 and 2's remake, they outsourced to the same composer. So all of the songs from Ys 3 and Ys 1 and 2, even though they're based on the original songs, they're all remade by the same composer. So you might notice like some similar sounding songs. Those outsourced composers will sometimes compose the new music for some of the games too. Like they don't just arrange for remix. It's still pretty cool. I did load Nightmare, right? Yes, okay. I don't know how long it would take me to grind a level 5 to make the boss easier. I almost want to check and see. Because I am fighting him at level 4 when I don't necessarily need to be. I believe I get 8 experience from these guys. Yes, I do. I know there's kind of a mini side quest I can do that gives me some experience. I don't know if I've already done it. I have. Okay. I kind of want to get to level 5 just to see how much of a difference it would make. I also could buy a better shield. I think it's expensive. I think it costs like 1,500 or something. Yeah, I don't think I have the funds for it. Thankfully, I'm at such a good level, I can just run into enemies and not have to worry about losing too much health. Similar to the older Ys games, when you take damage, or similar to the other ones that you've played. Well, I want to take damage so I can show it off. There we go. You just stand still in the normal map, and you'll regen your health. 78, and back to 80. You can't refill your health in dungeons. At least not without a special item, similar to the other Ys games. Speaking of the other Ys games, there's a new Ys game that's releasing in Japan this month. Ys 10. Ys 10 Nordics. It releases in Japan September 28th, 29th, something like that. Falcom usually releases they usually release one new game every year, and they tend to release it on the last Thursday of every September. That way it launches right before the end of their fiscal year, and the remaining sales will carry over, like post-launch sales will carry over into the beginning of their next fiscal year. So they typically release on the last Thursday of every September. There are some exceptions, but that's usually how they do it. Ys 10 looks really cool. There's a new, usually every few Ys games, there's like a new iteration on the combat system. Like you mentioned that you played Ys 7. That's one version of the combat system. 7, 8, 9 all have it. And then there's Ys Oath and Felghana. And Oath and Felghana, Ys 6. And Ys Origin all use that. And then Ys 1 and 2 use the bump system. East 10 is going to be the first to introduce another move, the first in a while. And it's doing something that I always wanted them to do, which is that they're going to be 2 main party members that you kind of fight with at the same time. And I've always kind of wanted them to do that, because that means one day we could have like an Adol and Dogi adventure someday with just the 2 of them. Dogi being Adol's friend, best friend and traveling partner that you meet in that was there with him in East 3 and East 7. One more. There we go. Now there will probably be a significant difference in how this fight goes. At level 5. I could also buy the better shield, I think, too, if I really wanted to. Unless it costs 2,000, but even then I could get that pretty quickly, I think. Let's see if this makes much of a difference. Okay, let's start this battle correctly. I'll remind you, this is Nightmare difficulty. The difference one level can make. Oh goodness. You know, I think I can consistently beat this boss now. That's one thing I actually, it's something that's really awesome about East 1, but it's also a minor complaint that I have about this boss, is this boss effectively functions as a level gate. Like, if you fight the boss at like level 3 on normal, you might find him too tough, and then you get to level 4 and then you beat him, and then you can beat him pretty easily. Nightmare, it's level 4 you fight him and he's pretty tough, but doable, and then level 5 you just beat him in 3 hits. I like how much of a huge difference each level up makes in East 1. It's so rewarding, especially because it doesn't take very long. So it always feels like they're making progress, and that it's always worth doing, and it's always rewarding. But I do think this boss becomes a little too easy after one level up. But at least if you're struggling with him, this solves the problem. Well, now he keeps appearing on the sides where I can't get him. What a difference it makes, though, from how he was at level 4. Such a huge damage difference. At least I'm playing well. Got him. I make a lot of mistakes against some of these bosses when I really shouldn't be. Yeah, I feel like you definitely take a lot more damage as well. Actually, you have 20 more HP. Maybe you take the same amount of damage, but it's the 20 extra HP that helps at level 5. But the damage, huge difference. which makes bosses like this all that much harder. Because you can't have any better gear, and you can't get any better armor for the Bat boss in this boss. Ooh, my movement was poor. And I'm just kind of standing there. Oh, that was a bad showing. But yeah, yesterday I was able to beat him multiple times back to back. And I felt very proud of myself. Like, yes, this is a doable thing. And then I spent an hour trying to recapture that glory and just felt embarrassed after I wasn't able to do it. But I think it was because I was very tired. Ooh, I was just standing around there when I shouldn't have been. I want to see if I could beat this boss again, though. Like, I want to have a decent showing against this boss. But yeah, I don't have too much of a plan for the stream aside from just play well against the bosses. Ah, I could have beaten him. So many chances. I think I'm gonna give it a few more minutes. Since I've been going for 2 hours and 20 minutes. I usually try to go for around 2 hours. I think one of the things I did wrong during that fight was I was just gonna hit by too many meters because I was just standing in the same place. I should kill him here. Got him. That's good. One thing I do wish that this fight had was just a straight up retry button. I've missed him several times already. Oh no, see, I deserve to lose on this one. Look at how much I've missed him! I'm ashamed. I'm horrified. It's being consistent that's very hard, and not just... Okay, I got him, I think. There we go. The hard part is making sure that you're dealing enough of the damage that you need to be. But even if you mess up and you don't hit him at certain points... Oh gosh, not this boss. Anything but Dark Fact. Welcome, Ultima. I hope you're having a lovely night or day. This boss. Can be so hard. But that's why I need to get good at him. I need to show to myself that it's possible. No! We're so close. I'm doing good. I'm probably only going to be streaming for another 5-ish minutes or so. Maybe I'll go slightly longer. My goal for this stream is trying to get better at each one's bosses. Try to get like a better understanding of how they work. No. No. No! I could have beat him. Wait, please, stream 2 hours more, thanks. You're like, wait, I missed it. Do it again for the for the first 2 hours of the stream. Oh, that was horrible. Oh wow. I somehow beat him. Backseating welcome? Awesome. It very much is. Since I've beaten this game before, I don't mind any advice or tips or help or anything. I usually don't mind it, in general. But usually on first playthroughs, I'll want to try to like figure things out myself first. No, I could have beaten him. Hey, you defeated him the wrong way, you noob. I know. I know. I'm doing it wrong. I keep blocking myself off into like corners that I shouldn't be blocked off into. Like here. You just thought of the stupidest way to backseat? Let me hear it. I have to know. Okay, I got him. Or at least I should. Oh, I should have got him on the way up when he was heading to the top left from the middle. Yeah, let me hear it. I gotta know. That was it? You tell you to defeat him the right way? What are you talking about? I beat him. Yeah, but you see, you didn't beat him the correct way. See, the way I'm beating him is too easy. See, the game gives you like a weapon, and when you use that weapon, you can beat the boss, and that's an issue. See, if the game gave you no weapon, see, now it's a real challenge. When you beat him with no weapon equipped, that's when it becomes doable. See? Now beating him is... Am I really a gamer if I don't beat him with no weapon? Isn't this supposed to be bump combat? I think it's actually impossible to beat him without a weapon. This boss is awful though. Give you so much high levels of rage assault. You might take issue with me saying this then. I love this boss. It's one of my favorites in the game. He's so brutal, especially on a first playthrough, especially on hard difficulties, on like hard or nightmare on a first playthrough. Like I can't imagine somebody doing a first playthrough of this game on nightmare difficulty and getting to this boss. Oh, I should have gotten him. I should still have this. There we go. It's okay. I respect your wrong opinion. I think the only thing... Did I type wrong? Oops. Whoops. Slip of the finger. I definitely agree that this fight is really hard. And I guess to an extent it can... Oh wow, I did that wrong. To an extent, I could see it as like questionable design to have such tough difficulty spikes with the Bat boss Vogelian and the final boss Dark Vac. Cause some of the bosses are like really easy, like the Centipede boss. So it is kind of inconsistent. Ah, I could have got him. I think I could have killed him on the pass before. I do think the balancing could be better. Like if the boss was this tough on Nightmare and all the bosses were this hard on Nightmare, I think that'd be better. On normal difficulty, I think it's bosses like Vogelian in this one should be a little easier to match the difficulty of the other bosses. Although I am playing on 60 FPS instead of... I don't even know what was intended. Because there is an issue with a lot of older games where the game speed is tied to the FPS. So if your FPS is really high, the bosses is going to be a lot harder than they're supposed to be. And since this released on PSP as well, I wonder if... And it's like a pretty old game. I wonder if it's supposed to be like 30 FPS or 20 FPS or something. But I know that 60 FPS is doable. Which is why I'm okay with fighting him at it, even if it's unintended. I didn't really like Ys 2's final boss either. I think Ys 2's final boss is better balanced. Like it's not as brutally difficult as this one. It's not too inconsistent difficulty-wise, but it is challenging. Especially the second phase of Ys 2's final boss. Really didn't like Oath of Felghana. I don't know if I've mentioned this to you before, if you saw it, but I streamed my first playthrough of Oath of Felghana. I did like on my own time. I did a Nightmare playthrough, but I streamed my Inferno playthrough, and I went into like my final stream going, you know, maybe this will be like a 4-hour stream and I'll spend like 2 hours on the final boss. I did a 7.5-hour stream and I think it took me 4 hours to beat the final boss. My brain was mush, melting. Infernal playthrough. Yeah, no thanks. Yeah, I wanted to try to beat the hardest Ys game on the hardest difficulty. And I can say that I have done it. I don't know if this link works. Let me see. I don't think it does. I think it works on... I do have the link in one of the panels. Okay, here it is. Let me scroll down to it specifically, just on the off chance you ever want to see what a person losing their mind in real time looks like. If you were ever curious. I don't think I mentioned it too much on stream, so now might be a good time to mention it as well. I do have a VOD channel. I upload all of my Twitch VODs. So if you ever want to see any of my previous streams, I've uploaded all of my previous streams there. So they're all saved. Let me read some of what you mentioned. After Ys 3, the bosses started to get good. I think Ys 1. I think some of the bosses. I think it really depends on the game, because it's kind of inconsistent. Sometimes the bosses are consistently challenging throughout. Sometimes they really vary. Like sometimes you'll get bosses that are easy and then bosses that are really hard. And some of the games, the hitboxes on the bosses are a little questionable too. Oh, I should beat him here. Yes. Ys 8 is still your favorite though. Ys 8, I would also say Ys 8 is one of the best games in the series. It's also nice to have one that has a good chunk of story to it as well. I think I've played through all the Ys games, or at least all the localized ones now, and I would say Ys 8 I think is probably the second best in the entire series. It's easily in the top 3, and a 10 out of 10. Here's hoping Ys 10 is good. I am 100% positive it'll be good. I haven't played a single Falcom game that I wouldn't consider at least good. Will it be one of the best in the series, though? We'll have to see. It's going to be the first one on the brand new engine, on Falcom's brand new engine. And it will be in the first in the new style. Typically, whenever they try something new, sometimes it'll be a little rough around the edges, and they'll polish it more as they continue to use it. So I don't know if like I'm gonna look at Ys 10 and say it's like top 3 in the series or something, but I think it'll probably be a really, really strong game. Like I think it'll be a great game for sure, especially just from what I've seen of the game. Have you played all the Ys games? I can't remember how many you've played. I don't know, one of Falcom's games is bad. Cold Steel 4, there's just like nothing good there. Well, after seeing my skill against this boss, I think I have to agree. I'm not very good. Just joking, by the way. I know. Or I guess I could ask, out of the ones you've played, how would you rank them? Like out of the Ys games that you've played so far. I think that's 3 in a row. You sure you played all the Ys games? Maybe you missed one, you're not sure. I think I just beat Dark Vac 3 times in a row. I feel like I need to go for 5 now. How would you rank them out of the ones you've played? It could be from favorite to least favorite or like best to worst. Either is fine. Or if those are the same thing for you. I think I lost this one. Yeah. There goes my... Played all the ones on Steam, that's for sure. That's pretty much all the Ys games then. I wasn't hitting them enough. That would take some time, some that you don't remember that well. That's fair. There are definitely some that... I feel like if I was to replay every Falcom game, I'd probably shift my rankings around too. I feel like even just thinking about some of them in retrospect, I feel like I'd move some of them around. And even then, I feel like depending on the day, my opinion on it might even change. That might have been the fastest I've beaten him. I think the one I would consider the best, and also one of my top 2 favorites, would be Ys 9. I think 9's probably... My top 2 favorites are Ys 9 and Ys 1, but I wouldn't consider Ys 1 one of the best games in the series. Like, I think it's a good game, but I wouldn't call it one of the best. Just one of my favorites. Ooh, got it again. 1, 2, and Oath are near the bottom, and 8's on top. That's fair. 8's fantastic. 1 and 2, very understandable. I like the games a lot. 2 is actually one of my least favorites, strangely. I think 2 is a better game than East 1, but it's probably one of my least favorites. Which is very strange, because East 1 is one of my favorites. I just really like the bosses, how easy it is to replay the game, and the bump system. So some of the things they added East 2, like the magic system, I didn't love too much. Let's beat them one more time. And then I'll probably call it a stream. 9 and 7 are up there too. 9 is so good. 7 I might need to replay. Some people really love 7. But I didn't love it as much as some of the other people do. You should die here? Yes. And you remember getting lost a lot in East 1 and 2, and you do not like getting lost in games. That's very fair. If East 1 and 2 were ever remade, there'd probably be like some kind of map system. Although I should mention, East 1 and 2 were kind of designed at a point in time where you were kind of expected to make your own maps, like to draw out your own maps as you play through the games. Because even in the original manual for East 1, they recommended and like encouraged you to draw out your own maps. So I think that's probably why a lot of people get lost and like struggle through some of the dungeons. Which is just an unfortunate thing, because people today definitely just don't do that. And the game doesn't really give you an in-game way of doing that. So it's not like there's a way for someone who just picks up the game and plays it to know that that's like encouraged. I think if East 1 and 2 were ever remade, I think it'd be really cool if they like implemented an in-game way of kind of like making your own maps. East 1 and 2 Etrian Odyssey suit. Just game design is denied. Game developers. I've never played Etrian Odyssey. Do they have something similar to that? I'm gonna see if I can find someone to raid. Well, they're good, tough but good. I've heard of them, but I don't really know much about them. Do they have like a similar kind of map design, or do they have their own maps and stuff? Really good music, actually. The music is your favorite part of the games. Man, a game with a good soundtrack is always something that I appreciate. I think my win-loss streak against Dark Fact this stream was very, very high. Compared to yesterday, where I practically spent an hour losing to him after beating him 5 times because I was tired. At least I proved to myself that I could do it. A dungeon crawler kind of thing, where you draw your own maps as you go through them. And they give you like an in-game way of doing that. Like it's a mechanic, it's something you can engage with in-game. Or is it something they encourage you to do like outside of the game? I'm going to begin the raid in just a second. We're going to be raiding Yahiko. He's playing through Devil May Cry 4. Yes, it's a DS game originally, so the map drawing is on the touchscreen. See, I don't know how you'd adapt that to other platforms, but something like that I think would be really cool if East 1 and 2 were ever remade. Okay, I'm going to start the raid now, and I'm going to try to stream again, probably tomorrow. Tuesday is when Nayuta comes out, The Legend of Nayuta Boundless Trails, and I'm going to try to stream that. I don't know if I'll be able to. I don't know if my PC is strong enough, but I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to see if I can stream more before that point. I can't make any guarantees, but I am going to try to stream a bit more of East 1. I want to see if I can get better at the bosses still. I still feel like there's some improvements I can make for some of the bosses. But I can't make any promises. I'll make sure to post about it on the Discord. For anyone who hasn't joined, if you want, feel free to join the Discord. It's not super active, but I indicate when I go live and schedule and stuff like that. It's on the Switch too. No, I don't have a Switch, but I'm sure they probably found a way to adapt that then. Also, bye, see you soon. Thank you for dropping by, Ultima, and Taco, and for the raid, and Xanadu. Thank you everybody who dropped by. I hope you all had a lovely time here, and I hope you all have a great, wonderful rest of your day and night. Thank you again. Take care, everybody, and have a good one. Bye.